education components of that program. We've now had 2 successful classes graduate. From a strategic perspective, Mark Edwards, the President and CEO of Philadelphia Works, the city's leading workforce development agency, which provides free training and job search help for job seekers, is also a member of the Community College Board. As I pointed out to her earlier, Dr. Judith Gay, our interim president of Community College, is a member of the Philadelphia Works Board. As you can see, we try to create a significant amount of integration and overlap. These appointments help to ensure that these 2 institutions, Philadelphia Works and CCP, are shaping a shared vision for education and workforce development in our city. Clearly, the Community College of Philadelphia is, in fact, a cornerstone of how the city hopes and expects to make a difference in the educational and professional outcomes of our students. I know that these institutions represent the roles that many others can play in their communities as you serve all across this country. Philadelphia, like many cities, is a quite diverse city, rich and poor, young and more senior. And almost any nationality or ethnic group that you can imagine is represented in our great city. And just like any other city with a wide array of students, we also have many who have immigrated to the United States. And I believe we have a valuable and underdeveloped asset and resource when we look to strategies to increase educational attainment, and that's the potential of our undocumented students. The Community College of Philadelphia has taken important steps in the path to help those complete a degree, make it a bit easier to navigate for our undocumented students as well. These students have so much to give the United States economy. We need to ensure that they ultimately enter the workforce, get the documentation that they need, and they can become productive members of our communities as well. And I know many of you have been creative and courageous in leading the way in our nation's struggle in this particular area. We need a more comprehensive national solution to this challenge. We need one immigration policy for the United States of America, just one that works for everyone. But it's also why I believe that the state and federal versions of the DREAM Act represent the right policy and a step in the right direction for our states and for our national government. Education is no longer a great moral requirement. It's an economic imperative. It is the civil rights issue of the 21st century, access to a quality education for everyone in the United States. Our charge as community college trustees and presidents is to effectively govern our colleges so that they meet the educational, workforce development, and social needs of our nation's communities, our employers, and our students. We hold the power to make President Obama's vision of opportunity for all a reality. It is therefore incumbent upon us to do all that we can and take every action we can to ensure that every single American child and every single child in America has the best opportunity to succeed, and that success begins with a quality education. That's the American way forward, and that's how we ensure life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness right here in the greatest nation in the world. Thank you. Sure. Okay. Yes, sir.
Mayor Nutter, my name is Dick Van Hollebeck. I'm from Edmonds Community College in the state of Washington. Sir, you, after my being a trustee for 8 years, are the most articulate politician I have ever heard in voicing what education needs, but even more so in taking the actions necessary to achieve it. I applaud you. I hope you will spread the word nationally. You're terrific.
Thank you. I love when we can get folks to just come up and say the things that I need to hear from time to time. No, sir, seriously, thank you very much for your comments. I'm passionate about this issue. I wouldn't be doing what I do today if not for getting a great education and having folks look after me and take care of me. all of my time, and I have much to give back. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor. My name is Heather Hilton, student trustee from Massachusetts. You mentioned that college affordability plays a huge role in college completion. With that being said, and which I do agree to as well, I would like to know what are your views on U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren's plea for a 0.7% interest rates for college students?
What was the first part of what you said? I didn't hear what you.
It's regarding college affordability.
Yeah.
United States Elizabeth Warren, senator, she has a plea for a 0.75% rate for college students, for loans for college students. What are your views?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think the rate should be as low as possible. I mean, you know, only in Washington, D.C., could we find ourselves, I guess this was about a year or so ago, one of the great debates was whether or not the student loan rate was going to, I think, double from 3% to 6%. It's one of the, greater inane debates that members of Congress have from time to time when they're doing whatever it is that they do. And I said last night we had a small dinner. I consider education should be considered a part of the national defense of the United States of America. I've not seen the
definitely.
And I don't see the Defense Department, which I love, the defense of our country, and we have to be strong, and we have enemies, and all of that. But I never see them having bake sales. They're not selling cookies. They're not selling candy. They're not doing all this stuff. So, I mean, if that's, and I admire Senator Warren, so if that's the rate that she thinks it should be, or maybe it could be lower, how about try this? I mean, why are students paying interest on loans in the first place?
Yes,
in order to further their
definitely.
education. So, I mean, if we want a strong country, we're going to compete on knowledge, not just how many missiles we have, but how many smart folks we have in this country. So, I think we need to look at some of the other models around the world with regard to how other countries invest in education. You're not just improving yourself, you're actually improving the country. But, I'd certainly support the senator's call for a much lower interest rate for our students.
Thank you, Mayor. I
Sure.
believe education should be a right and not a privilege.
I agree. I think we have one last one, and I know we're jamming up your schedule.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Irma Johnson Hadley, Chancellor for the Tarrant County College District, and you are singing music to our ears. My question is,
I can't sing, ma'am, let me assure you.
it sounds like music to my ears.
I hear you.
But my question is, I think you're on the board of the community college there, and that's awesome. But my question is, are you spreading the gospel among the Council of Mayors, the U.S. Council of Mayors? Are there other mayors around the country who are taking that kind of interest in education in their cities?
Thanks for the question. There are many. Our leading champion on education at the U.S. conference is actually the current vice president. He'll move up into the presidency in a few months, and that's Mayor Kevin Johnson in Sacramento. A lot of the focus at the conference from an education standpoint is probably more in the K-12 area. Again, some of the mayors have direct responsibility, semi-responsibility, no responsibility. I think for some, jumping into the college and university area where you have, again, absolutely no control in most instances whatsoever is an even greater challenge. And I think, but again, if you look at education from an economic development standpoint, it is one of the most critically important areas. So I'll continue to talk with my colleagues about, kind of moving up into the higher education realm. But I know many are focused in the K-12. I'm trying to actually eliminate the K-12 as a part of the language. I think in the 21st century, we have to talk about K-16. To really make sure that people are successful going forward. As important as a high school diploma is, you're going to only go so far with that. It's got to be a post-secondary component to everyone's learning. I am getting pulled from this podium. I can feel the pressure on my back. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you this morning. Have a great conference.
I promise you, Mr. Mayor, I was sent up here. I didn't do that on my own. Thank you. Can we get another round of applause for Mayor Nutter of Philadelphia? Thank you, Mayor Nutter, for your remarks and certainly for all you do for Philadelphia every single day. Just some very quick housekeeping matters. As you leave, please remember to fill out the evaluation forms. I think there are many on the tables. They're in the back. They're on the ACCT mobile app. Your feedback is very important to us as we continue to shape these sessions and meetings. Our next session will begin shortly. We have a quick turnaround. It's the overview of the 2014 Community College Priorities. It will take place back here in the ballroom at 10 a.m. This session is adjourned. Thank you very much.